Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Our next presenter will be Trent Fitz with Zenoss. Please give him a warm welcome.
Thank you. I would like to thank all of you for coming today. Thank you. And thank you, AWS, for giving me the afternoon on Thursday. This presentation is your grandmother's monitoring tools are not software-defined IT operations. If all of you showed up to badmouth our grandmothers, that's not what this is. This is about how traditional monitoring tools are not suitable for modern IT environments. In the good old days, our infrastructures were pretty simple: servers, networking, storage. Each of the rectangles represents a monitoring tool, which also represents a data silo. So health and performance data for the servers sat in one place, for the network sat somewhere else, for storage somewhere else. Then came virtualization, another silo of health and performance data. This was still manageable. If you had a good sysadmin, this was still a manageable scenario. But this is not what modern IT environments look like. Modern IT environments look more like this. And so when you deploy a new technology, you deploy a new monitoring tool. As you continue to add technologies, you add more monitoring tools. You seem to never really get rid of the old technologies or the old tools. And so what you end up with is something like this, with 30, 40 monitoring tools that have not only overlap, but also have gaps, tremendous gaps. And so what you have here is no end-to-end visibility into IT services. So the vendors decided to help us. APM vendors came along and said, hey, why don't we just focus on the application? If you're focused on the application, then that's what matters. That's what's being consumed. You've got it under control. You don't have to mess with the difficult infrastructure part. This lacks complete visibility into the complete IT service. It's probably 10% of that service is the tip of it that is the application. Gartner calls APM a supplement to infrastructure monitoring. You cannot see an end-to-end model of an IT service with just APM data. There's also the log and analytics approach. That is, hey, just send us all of your events. We'll figure it all out. We'll tell you how these things are connected. But these also have limited visibility. Events were meant for retrospective diagnosis, and there's no way to build an end-to-end model. Probably 10% of the overall health and performance data that you're capable of seeing come from the logs and events. So where is all the critical data? It actually is in the infrastructure stack that supports each IT service. This is where you have the potential to provide complete coverage. It's the only way to get an end-to-end model, which is the only way to predict and eliminate outages. The problem is this is difficult data to get, and it's absolutely difficult to get all in one place. What is the cost of living this way? Forrester asserts that most enterprises spend 70% or more of their time and budget just keeping IT running, not innovating, not growing the business, but just keeping it running. And this is why. Downtime per minute, estimated by Gartner in 2010, $5,600 per minute. Cut to 2016, more recent data suggests that it's closer to $9,600 per minute. So it's nearly doubled in 6 years. This is due to digital transformation and a heavier reliance on technology to drive business. So that 70% is actually getting larger. If you extrapolate the $9,600 to however many number of hours your last outage was, here's a table that just gives you a sense of how many millions of dollars could be lost. These logos down at the bottom, they don't want to be on this slide, but this is a set of high-profile outages that happened in the last 12 to 18 months. Southwest Airlines is a good example. They had a simple router issue. It lasted for more than 4 days. It impacted their ticketing system. They lost, by their own account, more than $80 million. That doesn't count brand damage or other more difficult to calculate costs, but just in business dollars and opportunity costs, they lost more than $80 million. So companies that actually have time and budget to deal with these things and are trying to deal with these things, they're still not getting it done. So unfortunately, the reality of IT operations today is we still face too much downtime. It takes 12 to 48 hours in most organizations just to isolate the root cause, not even solve the problem. They've got disparate views from all those tools that you saw in the complicated network slide. The opportunity cost is we've gotten really good at getting people in a room together and figuring out whose fault it isn't. It's the mean time to innocence. But it comes at an opportunity cost that is tremendous. It's not the way to do it. CIOs, what they hate the most is surprises. They get a surprise, they can't answer the questions. We still have too much of this. There's a lack of alignment between IT ops teams and DevOps teams, and we're paralyzed by inefficiencies from manual processes. So how do you get this resolved? You can get end-to-end visibility by unifying all of the health and performance data that comes from the entire stack supporting an IT service. You can run analytics on this data. You can take application performance monitoring data, take events from those systems to augment the health and performance data. You can take events from the log and analytics tools to also augment that data. So you have the most comprehensive picture. So unifying the infrastructure data is what enables you to predict and eliminate outages, reduce costs and churn, and improve business agility. So the result is you take this mess of an environment with all of the ephemeral parts and pieces, and it enables you. It's the only way that you're able to do this, to construct digital twins of your IT services so that you can visualize every component of an IT service. When something goes wrong on a disk, on an array at the bottom of this service, you can see how that can propagate up and what applications will be impacted by that. At the same time, conversely, you can see applications that have been impacted and immediately go back down and root cause. I'm going to hit the pause button for 1 second while she shouts. All right. So the CIOs that we deal with, they live on this continuum. On the left is where most of them are. It's about cost containment. They want to reduce tools, they want to reduce overhead, they want to eliminate churn and reduce the mean time to resolve issues. This is where they're focused to begin with. Once they get these things under control, they start moving to the right. They all want to be further to the right. In the middle is risk. How do we eliminate surprises, understand exposures, minimize disruptions, and how do we protect the brand? This is actually a pretty simple methodology. It's getting to that third step. Every CIO wants to be known for adding value to the business. They don't want to be known for the cost containment CIO. They want to add value to the business, and that means improving business agility, growing the business, getting immediate answers when any issues arise, and enabling faster IT. The irony, though, is when you move to that value add stage, what you're doing is introducing more risk. You're moving faster, you're deploying new technologies, you're inherently introducing more risk. This is how they often get stuck at the ceiling of the risk section. Software-defined IT operations is what allows them to deliver value to the business. So what do we mean when we say software-defined IT operations? It's taking data from any source. So your traditional compute, storage, network, on-premises systems, it's from databases and virtual systems, whether it's virtual servers, storage, or networking, whether it's containers, converged and hyper-converged infrastructure that kind of blur the line between on-premises and cloud equipment and cloud instances. The public clouds, private clouds, it's being able to take all of this data in a single stream, have it in one place so that it can be analyzed in context of the IT services that are constituted by it. This is how you analyze the data and predict and eliminate IT outages. The other thing you can do with this data once you've got it unified is share it with the other ITOM systems. This means for configuration management databases, for incident management, for orchestration and provisioning, for AI ops or analytics tools. You've got bidirectional integrations that allow you to share that information, make all of these tools more efficient by automating. All of the data is consistent, you got one source of truth, and it's all automated. So software-defined IT operations is the glue that allows you to take inputs from any source, create real-time models of your IT services, and then apply adaptive machine learning algorithms to predict and eliminate outages across your entire hybrid IT environments. That means any data from any source in a single pane, keeping it in an elastic data store, a time series database that allows you to do real-time processing and dynamic intelligence with machine learning. We've got one case study to talk about quickly here. The University of Maryland, it's not the largest organization in the world, but this was a very interesting case study. 95,000 students worldwide. They have 5 very large data centers, had 5 very large data centers. They migrated 97% of their systems to AWS. If you guys have done cloud migrations, you know this can be non-trivial. It is nearly impossible to do cloud migrations and avoid disruptions altogether. This is what Zenoss helped them do. Move 97% of their systems on premises to the cloud with 0 disruptions. Also identified redundant systems and dormant systems for additional cost savings. And the reasons they chose Zenoss, the as-a-service option, we provide Zenoss as a service, fully hosted option here on AWS. It's because it's a turnkey solution that provides immediate time to value. It's a unified view of all events on premises or in the cloud, and it allows you to do correlation of devices and services across your entire infrastructure. Yesterday morning, we announced some new capabilities for AWS. More than 30% of our customers are also AWS customers. So we have a pretty steady stream of capabilities that we release for AWS. This week, it was real-time modeling for ad hoc AWS services. Many vendors here support the core AWS services, but there are hundreds of services that are constantly changing in the AWS catalog, and having the ability to monitor and manage those services is tough if you have to change code every time the services change. We've created a model that allows you to do ad hoc for any service, even as they are rolled out and as they change. Enhanced auto discovery, event management, integration of CloudWatch metrics, also monitoring of estimated charges for AWS, and an expense analysis broken down by tag filters and by service. The last announcement is that yesterday we announced this. Zenoss is available in the AWS Marketplace. So if you are an AWS customer, you can go to the Marketplace, order Zenoss software, download that software. It shows up on your AWS bill. This is a select set of logos. We're global across many industries, especially federal government, financial services, technology companies, and service providers. Zenoss, our booth is at 1240, down by the Cloud Cafe at the end over there. We have a drawing at 4 p.m. today for a couple of Yeti ice chests. They're really nice, and they're branded with the IT Squad branding that we created. We've got retro lunch boxes as well. If you guys come visit us at 1240, you can get some cool stuff, but also you can see a demo of the product. And if you've got any questions you want to come up and ask me, you're welcome to do that as well. I'll stick around. That's it.